What's going on, everybody? I'm Patrick from POWLAX, and in this video I'm going to be discussing my top 8 lacrosse Christmas gifts for 2021. Now before we get into this, I just want to mention that we're not going to be talking about gear. No sticks, no heads, no handles, no gloves, no helmets, no shoulder pads. If we get to the end and I feel like I want to give, my top rated one for each of those categories, I might, but for the most part, we're going to be talking about accessories, things you can use to play around the house or wherever. And so things that are going to make your practice experience more enjoyable at home. So before we get started, make sure to check out POWLAX on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all the socials. Check out POWLAX.com where all of my coaching material is. We're getting ready for the 2022 season. So hope to see you guys over there. And yeah, let's get right into it. Now these products are linked below through the POWLAX website. There's a page that has all of them listed, and the affiliate links that will send you to Amazon or to the specific sites are affiliate links, so you don't have to pay more. Some of them even have discount codes where you basically put POWLAX in the discount code and it'll give you a percentage or some money off. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it gives a kickback to the channel. So if you do decide to buy something, use the links. It'll help me out and I appreciate it. So the very first thing we have is Warrior's new ISO mesh. Now this is number 8, and so the reason that I picked ISO mesh is because when they first came out with the Warp, they were horrible. I didn't like them at all. And they'd have these advertisements where they'd have like Rob Pennell and Zach Courier and all of their Warrior pros playing with Warps that were designed for those specific players. And my thought process was, of course they're going to like those sticks. You designed them directly for them. And now that we have ISO mesh, you can do the exact same thing. You can have a specific ISO mesh pocket that is designed especially for you. Now, I'm going to break down my experience with it. Originally, I did not think it would break in as much as it did in terms of regular mesh break-in, but there's a ton of break-in. And now these larger holes create a bit of a pocket. Now, I like low pockets. I was traditionally an attackman, so I like that low carry. And these definitely give you a nice bit more hold wherever your pocket is going to be. Now, the key is when you're stringing it, you really want to make sure that you string it almost just like you would a traditional pocket, and you're just getting the added benefit of having these larger holes where your pocket will sit. But so love the idea, love that we can now have our own specific personalized Warp style pocket. I've been loving mine, and it's definitely something that's innovative and just something new to try. So don't look past ISO mesh. Definitely give it a try. I've really been enjoying using this one. Coming in at number 7 is an interesting one because this will work for all athletes, and it's the double up roller. So I've really been getting kind of into my recovery. I like to row every morning, and as I've rowed, my legs will get sore, and I've never had anything that can actually loosen up my hamstrings. They're just super tight all the time, and I can't stand using traditional foam rollers because you have to hold yourself up the entire time. So I'm essentially getting an entire other workout as I'm just trying to relax my hamstrings, and my entire body is tense other than my hamstrings, so it doesn't really work. But so enter this double up roller that I saw and was advertised to on Instagram. This thing is ridiculous. It's essentially like a pair of big clippers for trees, and they have 2 poles that stick out, and on the poles are these massagers, so you just cinch your leg in there, and you can get tons of pressure to break up your tightness in all of your legs and your arms, basically wherever, without having to have a whole workout. So it's like you're actually able to get really good pressure to your legs. And I've never, ever had anything like that. So number 7 is the double up roller. This would be huge for anyone who does good leg workouts with any activity. I know they specifically make it for runners, but this would be awesome in the lacrosse world as well. Coming in at number 6 is a bucket of POWLAX lacrosse balls. If not a bucket, a set of 50, a set of 12, doesn't even matter how many you get, but just use the new pearls. So it upset me when I was younger when I would get these balls and they would literally be greasers in a matter of like weeks. And I was pretty, anal about making sure that I kept all my balls. So I would go shoot at the high school, and then I would rally up my 18 balls. But after a while, now we've got a bunch of greasers, and I just had to live with it. And now the POWLAX balls don't grease up anymore. So if you've got a kid, or you are a kid who will take care of the balls and make sure that you keep them as you're practicing, definitely invest in the POWLAX balls. They're the best ones. They're going to last you forever. They're not going to grease up. The biggest problem you're probably going to have is making sure that people don't snake them if you're out shooting on the same goal. Coming in at number 5, we have any type of shooting target. So traditionally, we have the ECD shooting target. Now, this one is about $40 on ECD's website or on Amazon. The link that I have, I think, pushes you guys to Amazon. But it's a great target. There's nothing like setting up shooting in the backyard and just sniping this target. It gives you a nice loud pop noise. Now, what's cool is that Skills has now come into the market as well, and they offer a set of 2 for $50 through Amazon. Now, when I got it, it was only $35. So they definitely sold a bunch of them and upped the price a bit, because these are awesome. And the fact that you get a pair means you can put one in one corner, one in the other corner. Now, if you put them on low corners, they will turn inside the goal. But just having a target to shoot at and hitting it and hearing that loud pop sound is absolutely amazing. It's definitely added another level of just having fun shooting in the backyard. It's also something where if you're going to play one-on-one, having to hit a target actually makes it a fun game instead of shooting at a 6-on-6 or a box goal. It makes it a lot more fun to have to actually hit the target. Now, the only difference between the Skills target and the ECD target is this little plastic piece here. This plastic piece actually is what clips onto the clip. So this clips around, and the Skills targets don't have that. It just clips right in to the rubber piece, which isn't an issue. It's just, it's why and how they're different in that one distinct way. Coming in at number 4 is any type of goal and essentially a rage cage from my perspective. So my mom got me a rage cage when I was in high school. I want to say it was my sophomore year. I still have that goal outside, made with great components, great parts. Make sure you learn how to set it up properly, because the little rubber joints can break if people don't know what they're doing. I've actually had other people who've been helping me out at training break my goal unknowingly because they just didn't know exactly how they should be breaking it down. But having a goal is essential, and a rage cage can break down and it can hang on your wall. So if there's an off season, if it snows, if your parents don't want you to have the big ugly goal in your yard all the time, you can just break it down, hang it up. It literally takes 45 seconds to put up and break down, and it won't be a nuisance in your yard if you get the rage cage. Now, any goal is good, but the rage cage I feel is the best. And I think the best one, the best budget one, is called Brave. The pipes aren't as big as the old one back when they first invented it, but it'll definitely last you a good amount of time, and it, the net connects to it really well. It's definitely a great goal to have. Players are going to like it because they're going to have a goal to shoot on. Parents are going to like it because it can be broken down and stored really easily. Or you can take it, to practice. It folds up, fits easily in most cars, definitely all SUVs and trucks. Coming in at number 3, we have the Elevate Goalie and Defender. So we're going to talk about the Defender first. The Defender is awesome because it can be used as a field marker, and it can be used as something to give you the representation of a defenseman on the field to dodge on. So here's what that means. If I'm a midfielder and I want to practice my alley dodges, I'm going to set up my dodge so that I make a move right as I come at and make the move against the defenseman. Now, that just gives me a representation of where I need to make the move, and that's great. The other aspect is you can use it to shoot around, and it can be an impediment if you want to use it in terms of setting picks and things of that nature as well. So it's a great tool. You just got to make sure that you're using it right. Now, the goalie is awesome because it's not just a mat that's going to sit on, the plane of GLE like a Hector the Rejector or any of the kind of squares that go in the middle of the goal. So if you put the Elevate Goalie in the middle of the goal and you shoot from the middle of the field, you're going to have about 2 feet of space on both sides that you're easily going to be able to score on. That's not what the Elevate Goalie is there for. What the Elevate Goalie is there for is to be able to shoot realistic shots at specific angles that are not from directly in front of the goal. So if you set up a shot, say from the wing, you're going to be able to pop that goalie out, make it a lefty or a righty goalie, and see the real representation of what a goalie would look like in goal from that angle. Whereas a lot of the other shot blockers just sit on the plane of GLE, and you just kind of have to hit specific targets. It's not very specific to that shot. One additional cool side note about the 11th man goalie is that if you do hit it right in the face, sometimes it'll throw it back at you. You can also use it on the field to shoot around. It's a lot easier to move than the Elevate Defender, but overall, they're both pretty cumbersome to move, and that's my first gripe about them. First is they're tough to move because you got to deflate them and then inflate them when you get to a new field. So I recommend them if you have a spot that you're actually going to be able to not have to travel somewhere with them a lot, because the bladder is heavy for the defender and the goalie you still just have to deflate and inflate. Now, the other thing about it is that they are pretty expensive. The goalie's $200, the defenseman is I think $100. So this is the one gift that I'm going to give 2 caveats for if you can't really afford it, or if you just don't want to deal with moving big cumbersome things. So whenever I have to travel and create a practice, I'm going to be using the Power Hands pop-up defender in place of the Elevate 11th man defender, and then I'm going to be using the flip goalie in the place of the Elevate 11th man goalie. Now, the pop-up defender is awesome because it's basically a clothes hamper that folds up and it has sand in the bottom, and so you just pop it up and you're good to go. Now, if it's windy, there's no way that it's going to work. But it does give you that representation of something to dodge on the field like the Elevate defender. Now, for the goalie, I like to use the flip goalie because it's basically a tarp with a picture of a goalie on it, and you hang it up and take it down in like 15 seconds. It's really, really easy to use, and it gives you the sides. Now, if you're going to be shooting on a 6-on-6 cage, I recommend you get 2 of them and you hang them side to side, because there's 6 feet in the goal and you're going to take up 2 feet with each flip goalie, and so you're going to be shooting at 1 foot on each side if you have 2 of them, and you're going to be shooting at 2 feet on each side if you only have 1 of them. The other benefit of the flip goalies is that they can be adjustable. The bottom can actually fold up and be held. Problem is, if it's windy, it's going to be blowing all over the place. The flip goalies do come with weights that are sewn into the bottom to keep it down if it's semi-windy. It's not going to help a ton if it's really windy, but there is something there to try to keep it down. Mine just fell out after 2 years of having high school kids shoot on them. That locks up our number 3, the Elevate goalie and defender. And then if you can't afford it or don't want to have to travel with it, the Power Hands pop-up defenseman and the flip goalie. Coming in at number 2 is something that I cannot believe I lived so long without getting, considering how much I love the sport and all of the little knickknacks I buy, but it's the smart backstop. So this is one of the coolest things ever. It actually attaches to the goal, and there's a little weight in the back so it doesn't fall over, so it's all safe. And it flips up and creates basically like a 4-foot buffer around the goal, even with the goal, that when you're shooting, if you miss, it'll just hit the net and the ball will drop right there. So there's a lot less chasing. You get a lot more reps in. You protect your house, protect your fences, protect your cars. It is absolutely awesome. My wife says that it looks like the dinosaur from Jurassic Park, because it like flips up and you have like basically the goal has this big netting around it. It's absolutely awesome. Now, the funny thing about this is I had this idea in 2012. I'm actually going to show you. I literally had this. It was supposed to be a backstop that would actually attach to the goal. I wrote it all out in my little inventor's notebook and actually had it CNC'd somewhere, but my idea was not as good as this. Mine had like little L bars and it attached and it flipped up and flipped out. It was pretty cool, but it wasn't like this. This is super light. It flips up all nice. You're going to protect your house. The one thing I will say is, even when you miss, it's awesome because the ball just sits right there. But if you're shooting near a house, near windows, you will still hit the pipe. And that's one of the things that I've noticed. I hit pipe a lot more now because I really can commit to hitting the corners, because if I miss wide, I'm not breaking anything. But I am hitting pipe a lot more, and when it hits pipe, sometimes it does come back to the house. But I would way rather be able to aim and hit pipe and potentially have an accident rather than not have it there and then kind of like fake aim or not actually shoot to the full extent of my abilities, because I'm afraid that I'm going to break the fence. And my fence does have 2 slats missing already, and we've been here like a year just because I've missed the right pipe wide. One was a trick shot, the other was a jump shot that I just missed. But so the smart backstop is absolutely awesome. You know, it flips up, folds back down. It's great. It sits level with the goal, so it's not like the backstops that are far back behind the net that don't block goals or block shots that miss from low angles. Since it sits up on the actual goal, you can shoot from, you know, really low angles, and it still gives you an additional like foot of space that you can hit. It's absolutely exceptional. Definitely check it out. Future Patrick here, and I'm excited because I just talked to Kara and Mike at Smart Tech, the people who make the smart backstop. And so they're going to give you guys $20 off plus free shipping for using the code POWLAX20 when you buy a smart backstop from smartbackstop.com. So if you're looking to get a smart backstop, definitely get it from smartbackstop.com and use code POWLAX20 and you'll get $20 off of your order. Merry Christmas. Future Patrick here, and I'm excited because I just talked to Kara and Mike at Smart Tech, the people who make the smart backstop, and they are going to give you guys $20 off for using the code POWLAX20 when you order a smart backstop from smartbackstop.com. So Merry Christmas, get your smart backstop, and have fun shooting. And finally, coming in at number 1, drum roll please, is the All Ball Pro Bounce Back, regardless of which one you get. Now, bounce backs are essential to training at home, and you can get a ton of different ones. Some are expensive, some are not. Now, the bottom line is that being able to hit the wall or hit the bounce back is completely essential to being able to practice at home. If you have the ability to hit the wall for 15 to 20 minutes a day, 5 minutes a day, just because you get to walk outside and start playing instead of having to leave your house to go somewhere else, it's just going to make the attainment of the practice that much easier. And if you're going to do it, I believe in doing it right. But I mean, I love lacrosse. I knew I was going to play lacrosse all through high school, all through college, as much as I possibly could. So if you have a player who is actually invested in the sport, get an All Ball Pro. It's not going to sit on the side of the house. They're actually going to use it because it's the best style of bounce back. Like other bounce backs that are made out of kind of like trampoline and springs, when you throw it, you have to like shoot it at it in order for it to actually come back to you. And there's all these like little dead spots in it where if you hit it right on the corner, it doesn't quite get the, the pull from the backside of it. So then it just like comes and it hits the ground. It's absolutely terrible. Whereas the All Ball Pro, because of how they tighten it and the way, the way that it's built, I don't know exactly what they do, but when you throw it, it doesn't lose any of the kinetic energy. It hits it and it comes right back at you just like it would be on a wall. And it's actually better than a wall because you can adjust the height and make it higher so it's the same location as you would be throwing to an actual player, and the tilt will allow the ball to come back to you versus on a wall where it will hit the wall and then bounce before it comes back to you. The difference is totally night and day, and the other awesome thing about it is that they last for years and years and years. A buddy of mine, he picked up the ones who were that were at the, I think, 2016 World Lacrosse Championships that were out in Denver. He basically was like, if you don't want to ship them back, I'll take them. And so he bought one of them, and it's literally been in his yard in Colorado getting snowed on, rained on, hailed on, all of that for the last 5 years, and it's still in perfect working condition. It's absolutely amazing. They're not made cheaply. They're going to last you years, and if you think about the overall benefit over time, it's definitely worth the investment. Now, if it's not doable for you, totally cool. Get a different style of bounce back or just pick up and go to the wall. But having that bounce back so you can throw and catch and just get reps and reps and reps is definitely going to be beneficial to the training experience that you can have at your home. And that concludes my top 8 lacrosse Christmas gifts for 2021. Definitely let me know what you guys thought down in the comment section. What did I miss? What should I have added? What would you have put on there? Definitely let me know what your favorite gear is, what you're hoping to get for Christmas down in the comment section as well. Make sure to check out POWLAX.com for all of your training, wall ball, trick teaching stuff, as well as all of the coaching content that is there as well. And then hit me up on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all of those socials, and I will see you guys in the next video.